When you're creating a presentation, you, of course, want it to be effective, informative, and visually appealing. Often, though, that's easier said than done. One thing that's essential for a good presentation is good content. And you can ensure your content is up to scratch by following some best practices for creating content. These are: 1. Use short, concise phrases. Too much text, especially if it's dense and long-winded, makes a presentation difficult for an audience to follow. 2. Use bullet points or numbered lists. This is a great way of presenting information in a presentation because it makes it easier for an audience to follow. 3. Use high-quality graphics and charts. Graphics and charts are a great way of breaking up the monotony of too much text, and can often be a more effective way of really driving home your point. And finally, use animation to illustrate important topics. Again, animation can be a great way of grabbing the audience's attention, particularly when you have a very important point that you want them to focus on. Now let's look at adding, deleting, and editing text. We'll start with how to add or enter text into your presentation. To add or enter text onto a slide, select the slide and click on the text box. You'll see that a vertical blinking line appears in the top left corner of the text box. This is called the insertion point. Using the keyboard, type some text. For example, type "This is sample text." Use the spacebar on the keyboard to enter spaces between the words. Deleting text is just as straightforward. Just click on the end of the word or sentence that you want to delete. The insertion point will be at the end of the text. Hold down or tap repeatedly on the backspace on your keyboard until you have deleted all the text you want to delete. Alternatively, you can place the insertion point at the starting point of the text and then press the delete key until everything you want to delete has been deleted. When it comes to editing text, there are several options. You can enter missing text between words, delete content and simply retype, or use the insert function to type over existing text. To enter missing text between words, perform the following steps. First, identify the word to be inserted. For example, look at the text here. This a sample presentation. Clearly, this sentence is missing the word is. It needs to be inserted, doesn't it? Insertion point will move before the word a. Type the word is and press the spacebar. Now the sentence is complete. Another way to edit text is to delete and retype the correct word. For example, in the sentence, "This is the wrong presentation," the word wrong needs to be replaced with sample. To delete the wrong text and enter the correct text, perform the following steps. Place the mouse pointer after the word wrong and click once. The insertion point will move after the word wrong. Use the backspace button on the keyboard, pressing it repeatedly until the word has been deleted. Now enter the word sample using the keyboard. The sentence is now correct. Alternatively, you could have corrected this error by simply typing over the incorrect text. Simply highlight the word you want to type over, in the same way you would in a Word document, and then type the correct word. When adding text to your presentation, it's good to know how to add a text box. A text box enables you to insert pieces of text or boxes of text anywhere in your presentation, and it's very easy to create one. On the Insert tab, click on Text Box, which you'll find in the group of commands labelled Text. The mouse pointer changes into a vertical line. Bring it to wherever you want to create the text box on the slide. Holding down the left mouse button, drag the mouse pointer in any direction to create a text box. Once the text box is created, click on the text box and start typing. The text will be entered as you type. You can also paste text into the text box. We've just looked at adding, deleting and editing text. Now we're going to look at copying and moving text, and also cutting and moving text. The ability to easily copy or cut and then move text makes creating and editing a presentation much simpler. And look how easy it is to do. To copy text, simply hold down the left mouse button and drag it across the text that you want to copy. The selected text will be highlighted as shown. Next, click on the Copy button, which you'll find on the ribbon's Home tab. To paste the text that you've copied to a new location, first select a location to paste it to. When you've chosen the location, just click on the Paste button on the ribbon. Sometimes, however, you might want to remove text entirely, to cut it from one place and put it somewhere else instead. For this, we use the Cut and Paste function. To cut and paste text, left-click with the mouse and highlight the text that you want to cut. The text will be highlighted as shown. Now click on the Cut button on the Home tab of the ribbon. The text you selected by highlighting will be removed. Now that you've cut the text from one location, you can paste it somewhere else. Click on Paste on the ribbon. The text will be copied to the new location. And that's how simple it is. We've just looked at copying and moving text within the same presentation. It's also possible, though, to copy text and move it to another presentation. To copy text and paste it to another presentation, follow these steps. The first thing to do is copy the text. Start by opening the presentation and selecting the relevant slide. Left-click with the mouse and, while holding down the button, drag the mouse across the text that you want to copy. The text will be highlighted. Then click on the Copy button, which you'll find on the Home tab of the ribbon. Next, roll the mouse over the icon on the taskbar. The available presentations will appear in the preview window. Select the presentation you want by rolling the mouse over it and then clicking it. For the purposes of our illustration, let's select Latest Report. As soon as you click on it, the presentation Latest Report appears on the screen. The text will be pasted to the new location. Then select the slide where you want to paste the text. Click on the ribbon's Paste button. As soon as you do this, the text is pasted to the new location. It's also possible to cut text and paste it to another presentation. Remember that when you choose to cut rather than copy text, the text no longer exists in its original position. To cut text from one presentation and paste it to another, follow these simple steps. Select the desired slide and highlight the text that you want to cut. Remember, you do this by left-clicking with the mouse and drag the mouse over the text that you want to copy. Click the Cut button located on the Home tab of the ribbon. So now select the location where you want it to go. Roll the mouse over the icon in the taskbar. All open presentations will appear in the preview window. Using the mouse, click on the Latest Report presentation. When you do this, the Latest Report presentation will open. To paste the text, First decide where you want it to go, so select the destination slide. Click on the Paste button on the ribbon. The text will be pasted to the new location. Again, very easy. When you're creating your presentation, you'll probably make a mistake at some point. Don't worry, there are two very useful commands, the undo command and the redo command, that you can use to fix things. Let's look first at the undo command. The undo button is the curly backwards pointing arrow on the quick access toolbar at the top of the screen. When you click the undo button, your most recent action is undone or deleted. This could be anything, a typing mistake or a format change, for example. You can correct several steps by clicking on the undo button several times. The default setting is for 20 undos to be retained in the memory, but you can change this up or down in the settings. Here's an example of how the undo function works. In the slide shown, click just before the word is. Type the word is again. The sentence has an error in it now. It has repeated words. Now click on the undo button. Remember, it's the curly backward pointing arrow at the top of the screen. Do you see what happened? The last action, typing the word is, has been deleted. The sentence is back to its original state. Right beside the undo button is the redo button. The redo button is the curly forward-facing arrow on the quick access toolbar at the top of the screen. Basically, the redo button reverses whatever you did with the undo button. For example, just suppose you decided that you didn't actually want to delete the extra is in the sentence. Click on the redo button. And we're back to the sentence with repeated words. Most presentation applications enable text formatting, which means you can format the text within a presentation. Some of the things you can change through text formatting are font size and type, whether the text is bold, italic or underlined, font color, font case, and alignment. Let's look at the first thing you can change through text formatting: font size and type. By default, the font size of each new slide is set to 24, but you can set it to almost any size you want. Let's see how you would do it. First, select the text you want to modify. Next, click the drop-down arrow next to the font size command on the Home tab. The font size drop-down menu will appear. Choose whatever font size you want. You'll see that a live preview of the new font size will appear when you pass the mouse over the different options. For example, select font size 44. The text will change to the selected font size. There's also a default setting for the font type. It's set to Calibri. However, just as with the font size, you can change it to whatever you want. Here's how to do it. Again, select the text that you want to change. Then click the drop-down arrow next to the font command on the Home tab. The font drop-down menu will appear. Then select the desired font. A live preview of the new font will appear as you pass the mouse over the different options. For the purposes of our demonstration, let's select Arial. You'll see that the text has changed to the new font. Another option is to make your text bold, italic, or underlined. The first step is simply to select the text that you want to modify. To put the text in bold, just click on the B icon in the Home tab under the group of commands labelled Font. The text is now in bold. To put the text in italics, again, first select the text. Click on I icon in the Home tab under the group labelled Font. The text is now in italics. click on U icon in the Home tab under the group of commands labelled Font. The text is now underlined. You can also change the font colour. To change the colour of the text in your presentation, just follow these steps. First, select the text that you want to modify. Then click on the drop-down arrow next to the Font Colour command on the Home tab. The Colour menu will appear. Select the font colour that you want. A live preview of the new font colour will appear as you move the mouse over different options. The text will change to the font colour that you selected. And that's it. The next text formatting function that we're going to look at is font case. Most presentation software also allows you to change the case of your text, which means converting text into capital or lowercase letters. To change font case, first select the text that you want to modify. Then, on the Home tab, in the Font group, click Change Case. The Change Case button looks like a large A and a small a side by side. If you want to change lowercase letters to capital letters, select Uppercase. To convert uppercase letters to lowercase letters, select Lowercase. If you want to switch everything around, converting all capital letters into lowercase letters and all lowercase letters into capital letters, select the last option in the menu, which is Toggle Case. For the purpose of this illustration, click on Uppercase. As you can see, the text is now in capital letters. The final text formatting function is text alignment. In most presentation software, the default setting is for text to be aligned to the left margin, but you can choose whatever alignment you want. And here's how you do it. First, select the text to be aligned. Then, on the Home tab, select one of the 4 alignment options from the paragraph group. These are Align Left, which aligns content to the left; Center, which centers the content; Align Right, which aligns the content to the right; and Justify, which distributes the text evenly between the margins. Click now on Align Left. Now click on Center. And now click on Align Right. Finally, click on Justify. This last option gives the text clean, sharp sides. It's similar to how text appears in newspapers, for example. The Home tab also contains a series of commands that enable you to create lists, specifically letting you add bullets, indent text, and set the line spacing. The Add Bullets function is a great way to create lists, either with bullets or numbers. It's also possible to introduce colour to the numbers or bullets. To use bullets, highlight your list and click on Home tab. Then select Bullets. Next, select the desired format of bullets. For the purposes of our illustration, select Arrow Bullets. The arrow bullets are now added. If you want to number the list, again highlight the entire list. Click on Numbering to create a numbered list. And you can see that the list is then numbered as shown. Indenting helps you to organize text and create paragraphs or lists. Increasing the indent moves text further away from the margin. Decreasing the indent brings text closer to the margin. It can be used to create multi-level lists or set two paragraphs apart. If you want to index bulleted text, follow these steps. Place the insertion point at the beginning of the text you want to indent. Click on Increase Indent button under the Paragraph group of commands. This indents the list, placing the text further away from the margin of the text box. To remove the indent, place the insertion point at the beginning of the text. Then click on Decrease Indent. This removes the indentation, shifting the text to the right, closer to the margin of the text box. The final function in the paragraph group of commands is line spacing. Line spacing refers to the space between lines of text and between paragraphs. Changing the spacing can make text on slides easier to read. To change the spacing, follow these steps. First, select the text that you want to work on. Then click on Line Spacing in the Home tab. From the drop-down menu, select the desired option. For the purposes of this illustration, select 1.5. The line spacing has been changed. When presenting content that contains a lot of numbers or dense data, which can be a little overwhelming if just described in words, it's a good idea to use tables. Tables are also a great way to illustrate trends, comparisons, or sequences in data. In this brief topic on adding and editing tables in presentations, we're going to look at inserting a table into a presentation, populating a table with data, adding and deleting rows and columns, and modifying cell dimensions. To begin, let's look at the process behind inserting a table into your presentation. First, click on the drop-down Table menu on the Insert tab. A number of options appear: Insert Table, Draw Table, and Excel Spreadsheet. Using the Insert Table option, you can do either of two things. You can either use the top option, which involves clicking and holding the mouse, and then moving it across the grid to select the number of rows and columns required. Or you can click on the second Insert Table option, which produces a dialog box asking you to input the number of rows and columns that you want in your table. Let's now create a table using the first method described. We'll start from the beginning. Select the Insert tab and click on Table. Next, move the mouse over the grid to select the number of rows and the number of columns that you want in your table. Wherever the insertion point was placed on the slide, the table will be added. Once you've inserted a table into your presentation, it's time to populate it with data. Let's look now at what's involved in populating a table. Populating just means filling it with data. Start by placing the insertion point in the first cell of the table, the top left corner, and then use the keyboard to add text. For our illustration, let's add the word Monday in the first cell. Then press Tab on your keyboard to bring the insertion point to the next cell. Now type Tuesday in this cell. If you want to delete text in a table, first place the insertion point inside the cell containing the text you want to delete. Next, place the insertion point at the end of the text you want to delete. Once you've done that, just press down on the backspace on your keyboard until the text is deleted. As you can see, the text has been deleted. Sometimes you'll need to add or insert additional rows or columns into your tables. Here's how to do it. First, select the table that you want to modify and place the insertion point next to where you want to add a column or rows. Next, click on the tab Layout. Directly beneath the Rows and Columns group, you will see 4 buttons: Insert Above, Insert Below, Insert Left, and Insert Right. Now click on Insert Above, which will insert a row above the current row. Click next on Insert Below, which will insert a row below the current row. To insert a column to the left of the current column, click on Insert Left. And to insert a column to the right of the current column, click on Insert Right. And that's all there is to inserting additional rows and columns into your table. Just as you can easily add rows and columns, it's also possible to delete rows and columns. To delete rows and columns, follow these simple steps. First, place the insertion point in the first cell of the row or column that you want to delete. Using the mouse, highlight the entire section of the table, rows or columns that you want to delete. Now click on Delete, which you'll find in the Layout tab. From the drop-down menu, select Delete Rows in order to delete the selected rows. To delete the selected columns, select Delete Columns. And that's all there is to deleting rows and columns. The final element of adding and editing tables is altering or modifying cell dimensions. You might want to modify or resize a cell to improve readability or enhance it visually. To modify cell dimensions, follow these steps. First, click on the table that you want to modify. Then click on the Layout tab. Under the group of commands labelled Table Size, you'll see commands for height and width. For our illustration, change the height to 6 centimetres. Also click on Width to change the width of the table. Let's change the width to 24.58 centimetres. And that's how you change the cell dimensions of your table. Practical exercises. This lesson on adding and formatting text in a presentation was divided into 7 different topics. The first topic discussed best practices for creating content, specifically the need for short, concise phrases, bullet points or numbered lists, high-quality graphics and charts, and animation. The second topic looked at adding, deleting, and editing text. In addition to the stages involved in adding and deleting text, it discussed the options for editing text, entering missing text between words, delete content and simply retype, or use the insert function to type over existing text. The third topic examined the options for cutting, copying, and moving text, either within the same presentation or between different presentations. The fourth topic provided a detailed description on how to use the undo command and the redo command. The undo command enables you to undo or delete your most recent action, while the redo reverses whatever you did with the undo button. The next topic, which was on formatting text, showed you how to change font size and type, make text bold, italic or underlined, change font color, alter the font case, and modify the alignment. The sixth topic showed you how to create lists, specifically explaining how to add bullets, indent text, and set the line spacing. The final topic demonstrated how to add and edit tables. It showed you how to insert a table into a presentation, populate a table with data, add and delete rows and columns, and modify cell dimensions.